Another interview, another classic example of Jon Jones blatantly ducking Tom Aspinall. This is getting out of hand. This may just be the most delusional excuse not to fight Tom Aspinall yet. He's had many classics over the past year as reasons why he shouldn't have to fight Tom Aspinall. But this one may just be the worst. I almost think, okay, we're going to watch the interview today. Shout out to Kevin Iole. He got us this absolute gem. Another classic example of Jon Jones ducking away from the great Tom Aspinall. We're going to get to the interview. I'm going to get to some social media comments because there's still a group of people on Earth that are really defending Jon Jones and his actions here. And I'm starting to get sick and tired of it, guys. So we're going to get to that in a second. But this might be the most delusional one. He compared Tom Aspinall to Johnny Walker. I almost believe that this is now fake. There's no way he could be intentionally doing this much damage to his legacy. There's not a single chance in the world that he knows that this destroys his legacy. By the end of his career, if Tom Aspinall goes on to become anything, these clips will be played back in UFC montages in order to promote Tom Aspinall. Unless he's genuinely terrified of Tom Aspinall, he's intentionally doing this as mental warfare at Tom Aspinall, knowing that he's giving Tom Aspinall this idea that he's never going to end up fighting him. And then boom, all of a sudden after the Stipe fight, it's on. I'm not sure. Let's let it play and see what you guys think about this. Then we'll get into some of the comment sections on Instagram that are still defending this guy's actions. Let it play. He calls out Alex Pereira. Like, what is he?
Tom Aspinall's the guy that people want to see you fight, right? So here's the question. You're fighting Stipe Miocic, and I know you're focused on that fight. If you defeat him...
Look at it. Just to break down everything like I do. Look at the energy shift in his face when Aspinall is brought up all of a sudden.
Tom Aspinall's the guy that people want to see you...
Immediately, there's a little readjustment of the mouth and a slow blink.
Fight, right? So here's the question. You're fighting Stipe Miocic, and I know you're focused on that fight. If you defeat him...
There's here we go. I'm going to have to answer this Tom Aspinall question again. If you defeat Stipe Miocic...
As you're a 6-1 favorite to win the fight.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. What a massive legacy bout. A 6-1 favorite? Would Jones even be a favorite against Aspinall? That's the question. I know what would do more for legacy if you were to get a win over them. The fight that you're 6-1 as a favorite to win against, or the one where it's kind of 50-50. What gets more legacy? We need to start reprogramming the way we think about legacy and the way that we think about what gets people legacy.
If you defeat him, will you defend your belt against Aspinall, who has the interim title?
Now, there should be no question. Hey, undisputed champ, who got it in a vacant fight against Cyril Gane, by the way, before people say, Aspinall's is an interim belt. Okay, well, Jones never fought the fucking guy to get the belt. He fought Cyril Gane. Very short notice put together on about 6 weeks' notice. They were the main event. It got leaked, and then they kind of had to go through with it. Vacant belt. He didn't beat a defending champion to get his belt. But, you know, this should be there should be no doubt he's about to say yes. Undisputed interim champ Tom Aspinall, who's just defended his interim belt, just to make sure he gets the fight.
More than likely not. More than likely not.
Now, it's the sass. I might need to make part 4 after this one. It's the sass in the answer. This is an unacceptable response. We need Jon Jones at one point in his entire career to fight someone who has an advantage over him. Every fighter does this at some point. Some people retire too soon to see it happen, but eventually fighters go through this. They fight someone that is not a good matchup for them. Can Jon Jones fight a guy his size or bigger that can grapple and is a well-rounded fighter who's got finishing ability on the feet? Every time we see Jon Jones up against an opponent, it's like, well, here's where they're good, but if Jones does this, it's easy. And it's no surprise he's calling out Alex Pereira, by the way. Because we know what's going to happen there. He will take down Alex Pereira, and he'll beat Alex Pereira. Pereira could win. He really could. He could find the chin of Jon Jones. Jones will probably just shoot a double leg straight away into that fight. And maybe Pereira times him with a knee up the middle. Okay, that's the chance. He knows he'll just take down Alex Pereira, who was a pure kickboxer until just a few years ago. Aspinall started in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was a grappler first, as a child. And then he's training with he's training with Tyson Fury in boxing to get his boxing skills good later on when he grew up a little bit, you know? And even that was when he was younger. He's a well-rounded guy that's Jones's size or bigger. That's all I want to see Jones fight once before the end of his career. But let's listen to what his excuse is.
Aspinall, who has the interim title?
More than likely not. More than likely not. I feel like Tom Aspinall.
The stress. The build-up of breath. Fuck. Why you got to bring this guy up? I said no Tom Aspinall mentions Kevin Iole. You'll never get another interview again after this. I told no one to bring up Tom Aspinall this fight week.
I don't want to say nobody, but he just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. And I understand that. I mean,
he hasn't done anything. Now this is very interesting to me. Tom Aspinall, and this is the same thing Dana White is saying about Tom Aspinall. You know what this is like? This is like when, I don't want to get too political here. You know, in that one side of the political spectrum, they all of a sudden start putting out the same lines on, I've seen like compilations of YouTube of these like American news stations. And then one time they're just all saying the same catchphrase. He just hasn't proven anything yet. This is like okay, everyone around the industry, we're saying this about Tom this week. Dana White did this as well. He's been peddling that narrative. He hasn't really earned anything yet. He's defending interim champ. He's beaten how many names? 6 names in the top 10. The only ones that he hasn't really fought yet are either new to the top 10 since he got to the top, like a Jailton Almeida, or another name like that, like a Jairzinho Rosenstruik, who he just happened not to get a matchup against on the way up the rankings. And then there's guys like Garn, who will not fight him at all. I've made a whole video about Cyril Garn ducking Tom Aspinall. And then we've got Jon Jones, who won't fight him as well. Pavlovich, in a minute. Curtis Blades, in a minute. Volkov, in 3 minutes. Whoa! He went 3 minutes? That's crazy. Volkov really put up a fight against Tom Aspinall. That's the narrative that we have with Tom Aspinall's fights. How do you go? Okay, say what you want about Spivak and Tybura. At heavyweight, they're ranked names, okay? But they're fat. Some people are just fat in the rankings of heavyweight. I get it. But he smokes both of them. They go on to get some pretty decent wins, by the way. But he smokes Spivak, smokes Tybura. But then you add on to his names that he's got. Volkov, Blades, Pavlovich. Interim belt for one, defending the interim belt for the other. And he's done nothing to deserve a title shot. I think Jones was something like 6-1 in the UFC. With 3 finishes or something, 4 finishes until he fought Shogun Rua. Someone put this tweet up. Aspinall was 9-1. And the one loss for Jon Jones is a 12-6 elbow. The one loss for Tom Aspinall was when his knee evaporated in the middle of a fight at the very start of it. Nothing had really happened yet. He went into the fight injured and his knee exploded and he went down. He's done nothing. Crazy to me. But Alex Pereira, he beat Khalil Roundtree last, so he's now earned it. Because he can't grapple. And Jones knows he can't grapple.
He just hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. And I understand that. I mean,
I wish Shogun would have said this to him when he was on the come up so he could never fight for an undisputed belt.
His belt against Sergey. Sergey just got slaughtered by someone else. So it's just like.
He watched his bout against Sergey when Aspinall stepped up. By the way, something Jones... If someone steps up on short notice against Jones, what does Jones do? backs out against Chael fucking Sonnen when he stepped in to fight you on short notice. Oh, I haven't been preparing for Chael. We can't do this. I'm not fighting him. Ruining an entire event. That's Jones as a champ. Just saying. Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall, completely different style matchup on short notice. Even though I was just the backup for Stipe and Jon. Sure, brother. Spasiba, I dig fight, you know? And then all of a sudden Aspinall puts him out in a minute. But he's done nothing. And then remember, Sergey Pavlovich just went on to get slaughtered by someone. So that means that that's not a good win anymore. Who's the guy Pavlovich got slaughtered by? Took to a decision and scored. Fair play. Because he ain't looked the same. I think it was Alexander Volkov. If only there was a guy that also destroyed Alexander Volkov. Because remember, Sergey's not good. Did you see what Volkov did to him? Well, did you see what Aspinall did to him and Volkov and Blades on top of it in the past year period or so? I think the Volkov fight was before the knee injury, so who knows? But still, these are great wins at heavyweight. These are solid wins. Look at the resume of Volkov. Look at the resume of Blades. The guys they fought. The guys they beat. Volkov was on a 5-fight win streak at heavyweight before that fight with Tom Aspinall. Pavlovich was on like the longest first round finish streak in UFC history before the fight with Tom Aspinall. But they're just nobody, right? Okay.
Like, I'm not here to gamble someone else making a name off of me.
This your GOAT! This is your GOAT! Because I can think of another farmyard animal he's sounding like right now. Okay? That's the chicken right here, brother. This guy that is insane. This is the GOAT. I don't want to give an opportunity and a gamble this guy making a name off me. What is he doing? Even if he's playing a game here, you know the type of ego that Jon Jones has. How he wants to feel above everyone else at all times. Aspinall can't even rest a hand on his shoulder without him brushing it off. You ain't doing that. You ain't getting one up over me. Listen to what he just said. Listen to what Jon Jones just said.
I'm not here to gamble someone else making a name off of me.
Undisputed champ saying this stuff. That's his reason for not fighting Tom. He hasn't done anything. First of all, even though he hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? While Jones has fought once in 4 years, by the way. That needs to be mentioned. In that 4 years, Pereira's built his entire legacy. And Aspinall's done the same. About who's not done anything in the sport. But then, I'm not here to gamble a fight against someone who can make their name off of me. This guy knows he's cooked. If you don't believe what I've been saying over the past year, that it's been when I'm saying, dude, I'm telling you, Tom Aspinall destroys Jon Jones. If you don't believe Lucas Tracy or Bedtime, who are still giving Jones dude, Jones can win the Aspinall fight. There is an argument. You can debate with me the Jones-Aspinall fight, and you can come up with a hell of an argument for Jon Jones. You really can. Like, it's actually kind of hard to argue anyone to beat Jones. But you got to find the right guy to do it and be like, well, there's going to be someone that beats him. And I think it's going to be this guy because of A, B, and C. But let me add something extra to the reasons why I think Aspinall beats Jon Jones. Because you just heard it there in what Jon Jones just said. He thinks Aspinall beats him. I'm not here to gamble and let someone else make a name off of me. That's why you're not fighting Tom. Bruv, the UFC better not fumble this. I swear, if Aspinall loses to like Cyril Gane or something, I'm going to be so annoyed at the end of all of this. Dude, if he goes on to become the heavyweight champ, I want these clips echoing in every promo piece about Aspinall ever. Any fight Aspinall has, front and center, I want Jon Jones saying these lines in the countdown episode. That's why the Jones fight never happened. And maybe Dana White's planning a bamboozling on Jones. He's going to gaslight Jones and big him up the whole time and do this and say this and that, hoping that Jones will fight Aspinall. And if he doesn't, well, now it looks like Jones is ducking Aspinall and I shield out for him to do so. So we're going to play that in all the clips and make Aspinall seem like this guy that even the GOAT was scared to fight, because he is.
I'm here to compete with someone else making a name off of me. I'm here to compete against the guys where when we look back
10 years ago, I'm not here to fight the guys that is a gamble and they could make a name off of me because I know I'd fucking lose. I'm here to fight the guys where when we look back decades ago, they've done something, you know?
10 years from now.
I didn't even mean to say decade, but fair play. 10 years.
It'd be like Jon Jones fought this guy and that guy and this legend and this champion and this champion.
And all you have to do with all of those names that Jon Jones beat is just look back 10 years from then. And that's where their legacy will lie. Okay? That's what you got to do, you guys. And maybe Jones is speaking in the future when 10 years from now he looks back. Listen, I've been saying this about the UFC right now. Lucas Tracy made a video where he was saying like Makhachev is way up there on the GOAT list and Volkanovski's way up there on the GOAT list. And all of these names that we now think about, they will become legends. Names like Drew Dober will be referenced 10 years from now. And they will be heralded as like, but yeah, that's a sick win. Drew Dober was a monster back in his day. We will talk about them like we talk about other contenders at that time. You know what I mean? Tom Aspinall, Alexander Volkov, these names, Curtis Blades, you won't be able to list great heavyweights without including them somewhere in the mix. The resumes they're building up. Volkov's been around for how long now in the heavyweight division, beating some really good names. Off the top of my head, Volkov's beaten Sergey Pavlovich. He beat Romanov when he was 16-1. Who else did he beat? He beat Overeem. Knocked out Overeem in their fight. He has a bunch of good solid fights. Blades beat Volkov. On top of the wins that Blades has over Jailton Almeida. And, then Lewis comes into play. Even Derek Lewis is going to be a name where you look back, who has wins over both of them. You'll look back and say, Derek Lewis, what a legend of the heavyweight division. What a legacy win that was. You know? It's just, right now, they're not seen as that because they're current. I hate that legacy and GOAT status only applies to people that have been done for 10 years. Done for 20 years. Get ahead of the game. If Blades puts another 1 or 2 good names on his resume, or if Volkov gets this win over Gane in the rematch, the legacies they're going to be having at that point, when you look back at it and go, man, these are some really good names. These are some solid list of top heavyweight contenders at the time. Let's get ahead of the game. Let's stop playing this game of, 10 years ago they were great, so now they're great. No, now they are great. We don't have to wait 10 years to figure it out. You know what I mean?
If there were to be a fight of a guy that's still on our UFC roster that would be not only financially worth it, but legacy worth it, it would be Alex Pereira.
We're going to get to his reasoning, but you guys all know why he's so open to fighting Pereira and not so open to fighting Tom, and we've been over this over and over again. You all know why. Pereira, I watched it, I know it was a while ago now, but it wasn't, because Pereira's so active and he's built his entire light heavyweight legacy in about a year and a half, taking short notice matchups, stepping up to save cards. Jones wouldn't know anything about that, by the way. Knocking people the fuck out, Alex Pereira was doing to build his legacy. Jones wouldn't know a thing about that, by the way. Took PEDs his entire career. Don't have a single punch knockdown other than against Lyoto Machida, who kind of fell into him in the clinch at one point after Jones went for a Superman punch and Machida went for like a blitz shot at the same time and he beat him on the inside of it. That was decent from Jones. But Pereira's, you know what I mean? What was my point just then? I watched not that long ago Pereira get controlled on the ground by Israel Adesanya. I watched Jan Blachowicz get him down in round 1 and have his back for the entire round. What recently have we seen in Tom Aspinall's career to suggest there would be any level of weakness against a Jon Jones? Oh, he got hit twice by Arlovski. This is what we're looking for in Aspinall's career. To be like, there are his weaknesses. He took that guy to the second round. You know what I mean? He got hit by blades. This is what we're pointing out as weaknesses in Aspinall's career. He got punched. He missed that punch. That left him open. What happened? Oh, he KO'd the guy 30 seconds later. But he missed that punch. You can't miss that punch against Jones. Or what? New age Jon Jones fans. Jones will knock him out. No, he won't. No, he never has. These guys watch Jones submit Garn in a round, and now all of a sudden it's Jones by whatever he wants. After I watched him take Anthony Smith to a decision, take a one-legged Thiago Santos to a split decision, lose to Dominic Reyes. Dude wants Pereira because he knows he'll take down Pereira immediately and probably do what he wants with him on the ground. But let's listen to why he thinks it should be against Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira and I, we both 37.
Light heavyweight champ.
First take that he has as to why him and Pereira, we're both 37. You can't write this stuff. This is why I think it's intentional, or this dude is genuinely terrified of Tom Aspinall. Listen to his first reason. Anything you can say, why did you just say that you wanted Alex Pereira and not Tom Aspinall? Let's listen to what Jon Jones has to say.
Alex Pereira. You know, Alex Pereira and I, we both 37.
Light heavyweight champ.
He was just about to say before Iole went light heavyweight champ. Jones went Alex Pereira and I, both 37 years old. These are things we're looking for on the job application to fight Jon Jones. I mean, why are you fighting this guy, John? Well, you see, this guy's 37 years old. Aspinall's in his prime. I think he's 30. At heavyweight, and he's already been around and done a lot. 31, maybe Aspinall is. 32, I'm not too sure. Maybe the knee injury took a year off of him, and he's a year older than I think he is. But I don't think he's older than 32. First reason he was about to give there for why he should fight Pereira. He's 37. I am as well.
Yeah, we're both 37 years old.
Reiterates it as a reason as to why that makes sense legacy-wise. What are we doing?
Right now, I weigh about 235. I'm an incredibly light heavyweight. I think Pereira walks around at 240.
Any reasons as to why he's more legacy than Tom? Other than all the reasons why it's a good matchup for you. He's 37, same as me. I'm not that big for a heavyweight, and Pereira isn't. And he's about my size. Why? Because Tom Aspinall's bigger and younger and in his prime. The first two reasons you give as to why Pereira makes more sense is that he's your age and about your size, if not smaller. Come on.
And I think that fight would go much farther on my legacy than a young man who's cool today and maybe gone tomorrow.
The cool today, gone tomorrow thing is crazy to me because Pereira's built his legacy in such a short amount of time. I hate this argument. Cool today, gone tomorrow. This isn't, and he's going to compare him to Johnny Walker right now. Cool today, gone tomorrow is crazy to me because Pereira is literally building like an other UFC fighter's career's worth of legacy in a year. So you want to talk about cool today, gone tomorrow. If Pereira happens to lose his next fight, his entire legacy will have been built in about 2 years. And that's what makes Pereira so great. Because guess what? When Pereira moved up to light heavyweight, Yuri said yes. Yuri didn't say, what has he done yet? You know? When he moved up to fight Adesanya at middleweight, not moved up, but when he moved into the UFC and he moved up the rankings at middleweight and beat Sean Strickland, Adesanya took the fight. With all the defenses Adesanya had at middleweight. He didn't say, well, he's got to go through a few more contenders first. He may have mentioned something like, you're lucky you're getting this fight, and the only reason you're getting this layup of a title fight is because I'm here, and you should be thankful for me. I think he said something along those lines, but he never then went, I'm not fighting him. He hasn't done anything yet. And that's a guy that had beaten him before. He knew how that matchup went. It's tricky for him. Imagine if those guys would say the same thing Jones said. That made no sense to me.
I remember a time when the whole world thought Johnny Walker was going to be the guy to beat me.
The whole world didn't. This is Jones's victim mentality. A lot of people were saying, is this the guy to beat Jon Jones? They're just hyping up a contender. But let's get to this Johnny Walker take.
I remember a time when the whole world thought Johnny Walker was going to be the guy to beat me. And no disrespect for Johnny Walker, but I mean, we all have seen the way his career's played out. I've just been here too long to...
He's compared Aspinall to Johnny Walker there. Now, the Aspinall-Johnny Walker comparison would make sense if, and let me give you the layout. So, respectively to their divisions, Johnny Walker's at light heavyweight, Pereira's the current champ, dominant champ, defending his belt a lot. You got two top contenders in, let's say, Yuri and let's say Ankalaev. It's kind of unfair to do it because, you know, the comparison I'm about to make, they don't have as many solid wins as Ankalaev, but then again, they hadn't already have been chinned and lost fights like Yuri. They hadn't done as much as Yuri, you know what I mean? Yuri was coming off losses in some of those fights with Pereira. But this is if Johnny Walker, the only way you can compare him to Tom Aspinall is if Johnny Walker beat Yuri Prohaska by KO by stepping up on short notice. Imagine that. Yuri was in a backup for a title fight, which was, I guess, let's say Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill. Yuri was the backup. He was coming off a win against Rakic, let's say. I know it might not make sense timing-wise, but in this circumstance, I'm relating him to Pavlovich. And then Walker steps up on short notice after already doing a lot at light heavyweight, and let's minus a lot of those losses that he's already had, by the way, because Aspinall's only one is his leg blowing apart. Let's imagine he's never lost at light heavyweight, and he just had an injury, and now he's just come back, and it's still the Walker that was on the rise. This would be if he stepped in and fought Yuri on a week's notice and KO'd him for an interim belt after Pereira and Jamal Hill both pulled out. No one talks about that enough with Jones and Stipe. And then if Walker would have gone, okay, I've got an interim belt. Pereira says I haven't done enough yet. So I guess I'll just chin Magomed Ankalaev in a minute as well and defend my interim belt. And then imagine if Pereira then went, you haven't done anything. That's the equivalent. That's how much Walker's career would have had to have gone differently to even be compared to Aspinall. There's no way we can let this happen. I need an Aspinall chance. That's something I need to mention here. I want a Tom Aspinall chance at UFC 309. When we're in the crowd, I'm not going to be in the crowd, but when you're in the crowd and Jones is giving his post-fight speech, Aspinall, Aspinall, chant that shit. That's what we need to do. Share this around. That would be an epic moment in UFC history. I'm going to make another video closer to the fight day of Jones Miocic reminding people to do this. But that's something that we need to do as a fan base of MMA to keep this sport honest. And to keep legacy just. Rather than one guy just getting pushed to the side and not getting a chance to make his legacy because another guy's already made his and doesn't want to risk losing it. That's the only excuse I've heard in today's interview. Make the chance. Aspinall, Aspinall, as Jon Jones is making his speech about retirement. And the camera will cut to Aspinall in the crowd. We need that moment. Because if Jones does retire, we need this rally behind Tom, or the heavyweight division is finished. If there's no rally behind Tom, and oh my God, heaven forbid he loses to Garn after all this, and then Nganou's at PFL and Jones is done, and Garn's the champ, I couldn't imagine a worse outcome for the health of the heavyweight division. We need to put pressure on him. Chant that.
To get all excited about some careers played out. I've just been here too long to get all excited about someone who's hot today. I'm here for legacy. I've been gambling for way too long to just take random fights.
Well, I'm part of the
Random fights.
whole world, and I did not think Johnny Walker was going to beat you, but we'll go there.
Yeah, great. Random fights. His defending interim champ. But you heard his reasoning. His first reasoning in this video. I highlighted it. I'm not here to gamble my legacy. That was his reason. I'm not here to just give someone a I'm not just here to gamble my legacy and give a guy a chance to make a name off of me. It's crazy. This is the GOAT. PED cheating. GOAT. Nah, I'm good, man. Fuck this guy. We go to some of the comment sections, and this is why Jones gets away with what he does. Because there's still people out there that will defend his behavior. We look at the top comment here. It's not the most liked comment, but it is crazy. Saying Alex and not Tom is actually more gangster. Tom isn't a fighter of the year candidate, is he? And I'm just going to say this at the end. We see you lot. You know? And then there's this guy here as well, another one of the top comments. Or not top, but one of the comments defending Jones, which there aren't many here. Correct. Jon smokes Aspinall, and then what does Aspinall do? Rather see him fight Alex. That's low tier God. I just realized that's low tier God. Shout out to him. But even still, we see you lot, okay? We know what you're doing! Let us see what happens when Tom Aspinall fights the GOAT. Okay? Your GOAT, let's just say, dude. We see who's defending Jones and this pathetic excuse for a career move. We see it. Let's see what goes down, guys. You know the game. You know what I mean? I get it, you know, like Fury beat Wilder. Usyk beat AJ. It's tough. Let's just see the final frontier in MMA. Please. For the love of God, stop defending Jon Jones. It's getting annoying. Look at this one. Look. Tom Aspinall is literally just a guy to Stipe and Jon. You sneaky. Sneaky bastards. It's starting to give fragility, guys. I'm just keeping it real here, guys. It's starting to give fragility is what it's giving right now, okay? Let's see these matchups. This is the time to do it. Quit defending Jon Jones for his bullshit excuses. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'd rather fight Pereira. Even Pereira, like, hinted at the idea of fighting Tom Aspinall. He's a G for doing that. He posted it after his fight with Khalil. This is one of the coolest walkout photos I've ever taken. And it was Tom staring at him in the background. And it was basically him hinting at the idea of moving up to heavyweight. It just feels like there's one name that none of these guys really want to say. And fair play to Pereira. He said it. You know, he said that shit. This is a matchup. Tom Aspinall. And before that, he never really mentioned him. And it's all good. Ngannou does this with Tom Aspinall. Ngannou was asked about Tom Aspinall, who I believe had just become the interim heavyweight champ. And he went, who? Who's that guy? And it's just like, dude, Tom's calling out Jones, Pereira, and Ngannou. Pereira is just like grunting, and sometimes it can mean that maybe he's open to fight Tom Aspinall. Then there's Ngannou who wants Jon. And then there's Jon who wants fucking no one but Pereira. Crazy. And I didn't think Pereira was his type, to be honest with you. No blue eyes. Don't make me drop part 4. Aspinall, we're doing the interview. I'm getting the Aspinall chant going. 309, be there or be square. Okay? In the crowd, when Jones wins over this old fucking man and gets on the microphone, you start chanting Aspinall. Aspinall. That's what makes legacy. The fans dictate what legacy is. Not some bullshit thing that happened 5 fucking years ago. See you later. Toodle pip. Goodbye. This is pathetic.